How is the pitch market?
It's busy. It's what you'd expect for this time of year, but I think things still seem to be slightly last minute, less sort of planning time given decisions made late. So it feels even more sort of frenetic. Is that the right word? Frenetic than they would be ordinarily. So yeah, busy time. Lots of wins we're seeing, and agencies are pitching at a rapid rate.
Welcome to the latest PRmoment podcast, and it's our regular review of PR pitches and mergers and acquisitions in the UK PR scene with Andrew Bloch. Today we're going to talk about the biggest pitch wins and M&A that the PR sector has seen in October. If you didn't know already, Andrew is lead consultant, PR, social content and influencer at the new business consultancy firm, the AAR, and a partner at PCB Partners, where he advises on the buying and selling of marketing services agencies. And Andrew Andrew runs the advisory firm, Andrew Bloch and Associates. Before we start, a reminder to get your tickets quickly for our PR Masterclass, the Agency Growth Forum. It's on Wednesday, the 26th of November from 8:30 to 5 p.m. GMT. Face-to-face and virtual tickets are still available. And the event, in case you didn't know, is held in central London. A few testimonials from last year. One of the best days I've spent at work for ages. What an incredible lineup of speakers. And another nice one here. Honestly, I had the most fascinating and most useful odd days of my career. I can't think of anything that needed improvement. The quality of speakers was phenomenal. So yeah, it's a really good event. And if you can make it along, I suggest you do. Andrew, welcome back to the PRmoment podcast.
Thanks, Ben. Feels like a while, and it is a great event. I spoke at it last year, and I thought it was brilliant to listen to the other speakers. So buy your tickets. Yeah,
well, thank you very much. Busy out there, is it? How is the pitch market?
It's busy. It's what you'd expect for this time of year, but I think things still seem to be slightly last minute, less sort of planning time given decisions made late. So it feels even more sort of frenetic. Is that the right word? Frenetic than they would be ordinarily. So yeah, busy time. Lots of wins we're seeing, and agencies are pitching at a rapid rate at the moment as people, as you would expect, trying to get stuff ready for next year. Christmas campaigns, Black Friday campaigns, all of that kind of stuff going on. So lots going on.
And if we're looking sort of year on year, in terms of the sort of pitch heat map, where do you reckon we are? Is it about the same as last year? A bit busier, a bit worse? What do you reckon?
Much the same. Okay. I think that's a pretty non-scientific measure, but I think it's buoyant. It may be slightly better. Better.
That would be. I mean, you're closer to me, but my broad summary would be a bit better than last year, but we're not high-fiving just yet, if you know what I mean. But
yeah, I think for a lot of agencies, and it's just the way that business goes at the moment, they don't quite know where their year's going to end up until right at the end of the year, which is sort of squeaky bum time. But there's some agencies that know they've had a killer year and they've sort of banked it already. There's plenty of others that are just waiting to see how the last couple of months go, and all being well, they're going to have had a good year, but they can't quite bank on it just yet, which makes it nervous times sometimes when you're running an agency. But
yeah, I think that's businesses in general. A lot of businesses in general, absolutely. Isn't it? It's all to play for, but it's not done yet.
Yes, exactly.
Right, go on to National Express. Have got a new social PR agency.
They have. If you remember, last month, Stagecoach. Sorry, I can't get my words out today. Last month, Stagecoach appointed McCann. This month, it's National Express's turn, and they've appointed Bloch Report, which are a new agency. We haven't mentioned them before on the podcast. Great agency founded by a guy called Chris Grimwood, who was ex-Social Chain and then Aris, and Jack Colchester, who was at Wonderhood. This is a brief that is all about driving fame and talkability around the brand, and it's sort of quite mixed. It covers PR, but it also covers social, print, out of home. It's all about driving cultural conversations and increasing positive sentiment. And what Bloch Report do, they're very sort of data-led in terms of their approach to PR and social, and they do these reports which give clients, I guess, a sort of product which shows them cultural and data analysis of how their brand's doing, and then off the back of that report offers them non-traditional sort of creative solutions. It's really interesting. It's also a sort of a subscription service that they offer with these reports. So I'm watching this one closely because I think they're an interesting agency.
A slightly different way of pitching for business, perhaps, but big things happening in buses. And interesting, quite a big account, this, isn't it? Singapore Tourist Board, but nice. They got a new agency as well.
They've appointed Splendid, great appointment, for integrated marketing. So this was an open RFI. It's all about sort of deepening the emotional connections with UK audiences, reinforcing Singapore's position as a leading destination for both pleasure and for business. So Splendid are going to be spearheading a 360-degree marketing and comm strategy. It's creative, it's brand, it's content, it's media relations, it's influencer, it's kind of everything. So yeah, big account. I think tourism accounts are fantastic accounts to work on. Sometimes they end up with specialist agencies who pretty much all they do is travel and tourism. But in Splendid's case, they're a much broader agency. I think it's a really interesting and a good appointment for the tourist board. And yeah, Splendid are on a good run at the moment. They won Heathrow Express a couple of months ago. They work with Travelodge, so they've got, you know, loosely travel and tourism experience. But they also do stuff like Monkey Shoulder, Gift Gaff, Ginsters, Bisto. So like a really broad array of clients. But yeah, lovely win for them. I'm sure they'll be absolutely delighted with that one.
And Belfast City Council is another one of those assortment of agencies, presumably different specialisms for different bits.
Yes, we call it a comms framework, or they call it a comms framework, and it's for Belfast City and the Region Place Partnership, which is a 2-year contract. They've appointed Cavendish, Lanyon Communications, which is part of Consello, and Open Strategic Communications. It's a big brief. It's worth 4.8 million over 2 years, possibly another 2 years extension, and it's a joint public and private sector led program. So it's going to, this is all about helping Belfast attract investment, deliver growth, portraying them as an exciting place to live, to work, to play, to invest. So there's lots involved in this, as you said, sort of stakeholder engagement, advocacy, comms, international marketing, partnerships. So yeah, an exciting one, a really nice bit of business to work on.
Right, well, we should potentially get invited to Belfast. Let's see. And an important account, this one, because it's PPHE Hotel Group, formerly Park Plaza Hotels, which, of course, as you will well know, Andrew, is where the PRmoment Awards are held. And they've got a new PR firm.
They have. You took the words right out of my mouth. One of the greatest venues out there. Launch PR. Another agency that's on a great run at the moment. They've won the Retained Consumer and Corporate for PPHE. Big, 51 properties, 8 countries. They're listed on the London Stock Exchange. There's all different brands involved. They also operate things like the Radisson Collection, Radisson Red hotels, through a partnership that they've got with the Radisson Hotel Group. So, but initially this brief is focusing on Park Plaza, showcasing the locations across Europe. Hudson Sandler do the financial PR. They're continuing with that. And W work with Art Hotel, which is unaffected as well. But great win for launch. Right.
Well, I'm doing my bit. I spent a few quid there, so yeah, I'm doing all I can. And it was good to see a couple of guys. It was PR Creative Club last night, and so it was good to see a couple of the folks from Launch PR there. And we should possibly add that Gary Weedon-Doyle has returned to Launch, hasn't he? Which was interesting news. I saw.
Yeah, I was pleased to see that. He's a great talent, and he's been missed really for the last couple of years. I think he's a great appointment. Be interesting to see what he does there.
Yeah, and one closer to home, Andrew, Rangemaster have appointed a new agency.
They have. They've appointed Stakked, which, as you know, is the agency that I'm non-exec chairman and investor in. It's a big win for Stakked. I think every new agency celebrates that sort of big name brand coming on board, and this is Stakked's moment. Iconic cooker brand, globally recognised, deep British heritage. They're the sister brand to Arga and Falcon and Mercury and Leisure Sinks. Really lovely win. Consumer, corporate, influencer, highlighting the brand's heritage, increasing the brand recognition. previously always done in-house. So hopefully Stakked can show them what agency life is all about and the benefits of working with an agency. So yeah, excited for them.
Right. Well, everyone wants a Rangemaster, Andrew. And an interesting win for Vamp.
Yeah, nice one. They've won the BFI London Film Festival. It's the 69th film festival that's taking place. Well, it actually took place a couple of days ago now. It's launched the careers of so many UK and international filmmakers. But this year, real emphasis on championing black focused and black directed titles within the programme. So yeah, lovely win for them. Vamp, nice agency. I don't think we've talked about them before on the podcast. They work with clients like Disney, Paramount, Netflix, Channel 4, Apple TV, specialists in this area. And from what I saw the last few days, they've done an excellent job on BFI. It's been all over the place.
Yeah, certainly has. And Wallace and Gromit have got a new PR firm.
They have, more specifically, their owners, Aardman Animations, who are the studio that behind Wallace and Gromit, as well as, there's well-loved favourites, Shaun the Sheep, Chicken Run. They're the Bristol-based company, and they've appointed Wonderland to celebrate Shaun the Sheep's 30th birthday. Who knew? Happy birthday, Shaun. Yeah. It's a campaign called Can You Knit It? EWE. See what they've done there. Inviting fans to create knitted items that could be turned into blankets for the homeless. Really nice campaign. It's sort of at the intersection of creativity and collaborations and community. It's lovely. Again, previously this was handled in-house, and Wonderland are doing very well at the moment. Really lovely work for people like Kraft Heinz, Coty, Lindt, Thatchers. So yeah, good win for them.
It's interesting to see a few, I suppose, the agency, the market expanding from an agency perspective as yes. A few briefs have gone in-house into agency world. Who knows whether that is part of a wider trend? We shall see. But just in time for Christmas, the Toy Retailers Association has a new PR firm. Yes,
they've appointed WPR to promote the Dream Toys list of the hottest toys for Christmas 2025. I always enjoy reading this, actually. It seems to have been around forever, this list. It's part of the fabric of media reporting on what kids want. I always hear early because my kids WhatsApp me detailed lists, normally by about January for the following year. But this is PR influencer experiential campaign. It's a list that's selected by an independent panel of toy retailers and experts. So yeah, nice win for WPR.
Great stuff. And the guys at Popcorn continue to pick up good accounts, don't they? So a nice win for them.
Yeah. They do. They're a very strong agency in the sort of consumer and lifestyle space. They work on people like Thorpe Park, Panasonic, London Designer Outlet, and now they have won Butlins, integrated comms account, creative media relations, positioning them as what they call the home of entertainment. So lots of seasonal activities, lots of partnerships, lots of events. I mean, Butlins is iconic, really, isn't it? It's interesting to see how they're going to help them write their next chapter and make them relevant and appealing to a whole new generation.
Yeah, I haven't been to Butlins for some time, but I kind of would like to. Do you know what I mean? It's one of those brands you look back when you look upon with happy memories to a large extent. Yeah. And Hey Jude have also got a new PR firm.
They have appointed Words and Pixels. Hey Jude are a really cool brand, footwear brand. They're just launching a new campaign with Lewis Capaldi, and Words and Pixels. As many people might know, I'm an advisor to, so I do have an affiliation towards them. But in my biased opinion, they're a fantastic agency for new brands, for brands that are shaking up the world, challenger brands. And Hey Dude sort of fits perfectly into this. And they're going to be doing sort of a strategic side to what they're doing of developing campaigns, but also some media relations, events, and helping the brand expand internationally. They're a very, very cool company.
Right. And Neon Brand Communications have had a nice win.
They have. They've won. I can never say this, and I'm going to say it wrong.
That's why I went with the agency name. I thought I'd leave that one to you.
I know that there's two ways to pronounce it, and I'm probably going to say it wrong by saying Acai Berry Group. Maybe not pronounced like that, but Neon are specialists in health, wellness, beauty, lifestyle brands. They do lots of stuff like hot pot yoga, coconut collab, stuff like that. This is a media and influencer campaign profiling founders. Acai berries grown from a little stall in Brick Lane, and produce very nice product. And up to sort of where they are now, which is 10 stores across London, 3 in Dubai, and apparently lots more expansion underway. So nice.
I've never had one of their products. Next time I'm walking around and I see it, I shall pop in and try one.
Ask them how they pronounce their name, so we know.
I shall try. And I was out with Lee and Frank last night, but they've had a nice win as well.
They have won For Goodness Shakes,
Right.
which is a protein, interestingly, and collagen drink. So not only does it fill you up and keep you sustained, but it makes your skin look tighter and better. I said that, not them, in case they get done for any false advertising claims. But it's a brand called Glow by For Goodness Shakes. Creative consumer influencer campaigns. Be interesting to see what Frank come up with for this one. It sounds like a really interesting product. Yeah,
and a nice win for Clarion.
Yes, Lipton teas and infusions. So they have won. This is a biggie, I think. Retained consumer PR. There's a whole load of sub brands: PG Tips, Pucker, Lipton itself. They were previously handling the trade side of this, and Clarion are well known as a food consumer and trade agency. Now they've expanded that to news gen, influencer work, brand work. Roman still handles social media for PG. Pangolin still handle the consumer for Lipton. But it's a big expansion for Clarion. They've got strength in both of these areas, which is relatively unique, I think, to see an agency that's so strong in both areas. And I think pretty much 50% or more of its clients, they're doing both trade and consumer for. They also do stuff like Audi, like Hovis, like Unilever. So another big sort of brand to add to the collection.
Yeah, it's interesting. They've seemed to be picked up a few things this year, haven't they, Clarion?
They're
winning some accounts. Obviously, WPP owned agency, which is interesting to see. Also interesting to see Brazen. Nice win for them.
Yeah, Young Seafood, frozen fish brand. It's a huge brand. Here's a little stat for you. They supply approximately 40% of all the fish eaten in the UK every year. It's a lot. And this is consumer PR, social influencer. The brief is to hook in, no pun intended, a younger audience. This is great win for Brazen. They're a strong agency. And I think, interestingly, what we're seeing more and more is agencies winning not just the PR, but the social media, the influencer, the partnerships. You can see it. You can see that the remits of PR agencies is really expanding, which is obviously a positive thing.
Absolutely. And also news from the good folks at Baloo.
Yes, they are. Baloo are, one of the great tech agencies out there. They've won a trio of new clients, right in their sweet spot of looking after sort of high growth tech and VC companies. So there's 3D Gen AI, which is a virtual photo and video pioneer. There's Shakers, which is a Madrid-based workforce platform that connects companies with tech freelancers. And there's Dints, which is a tech platform that connects emerging markets around the world with industrial equipment suppliers. Quite specialist work there, right in their sweet spot. Baloo are an excellent agency who where they really specialize is advising these high tech and investment funds at all stages of their journeys, whether it's fundraising, M&A, IPOs, etc., etc.
Right. And news from Nationwide. I wasn't quite sure on this one. Is this another one of those frameworks, or is it?
No, this is a 1, 2, 3, 4 wins for Folk.
Right.
Arguably, I think they could have held these back and staggered these wins because there's some really big ones there, but they've thought, no, we're going to announce the whole lot in one go. Folk, I don't think we've talked about on this podcast before. They're
not for a while, but they're good at
they're a really
creative agency. Yeah,
really good agency, and they specialize in campaigns that are rooted in creativity, inclusivity, and impact. So in terms of the wins, Nationwide have appointed them to help validate their customer communications guidance for colleagues to make sure that their comms are inclusive and meet the needs of vulnerable customers. And they've got this product at Folk called the Real Folk Panel. It's really interesting. I was looking into it. Essentially what it is, it's the only panel out there of, I guess, lived experience consultants that have various different disabilities or minorities, and they help advise and shape campaigns. And I think what they're doing for Nationwide is essentially making sure that what they're doing is correct and communicated in an appropriate way. I think it's really fascinating, actually. Other wins that folk have had: fast food chain Popeyes supporting their restaurant openings, telecoms company Oggy delivering a Fast Fame campaign to drive awareness around the brand amongst their heartland audiences, and Deborah, which is a skincare charity, and they're helping them reach new audiences and awareness. So yeah, it feels like, you know, 4 good wins, a year of momentum for Folk. Long may it continue. They're a great agency.
And another agency's got some momentum, I think, is Appellate Advisors, who are at the corporate end of the PR spectrum.
Yeah, they're doing very well at the moment, having a very good year. And they've won Border to Coast Pensions, which is one of the UK's biggest pension providers. Pretty big campaign, £560,000 it's worth across 2 years, according to our friends at the Government Find a Tender website. And this is about developing comm strategies, navigating the reputational risk. There's a public affairs element, there's a stakeholder engagement element. I always like the stats that you get on these websites. 22 tenders were submitted, 3 were shortlisted. Appella were the winners of that brief, and they were founded, it must be about 6-7 years ago now, by the APCO UK boss James Etchison Gray, and they work with people like Aviva, KPMG, Nationwide. Yeah,
good golfer, James Etchison Gray. And a win for Third City.
Win for Third City, the Royal Mint. Quite a sort of specific brief this. The Royal Mint are celebrating the 90th anniversary of Monopoly, the board game, and they are producing a commemorative 50p piece to celebrate. There'll be a digital coin hunt experience inspired by famous London locations. So let's see. Might have a go myself.
It's one of those accounts that's been around a long time, isn't it, Royal Mint? And it's quite a nice account, isn't it? They do some interesting work.
Yeah, it's one of those sort of businesses you don't realise how much there is to promote and talk about until you sort of get into the weeds of what they do. But they do a lot. But this is a nice brief. It's quite specific. Be interesting to see what Third City do. It sounds like a really nice campaign. I like the idea of a digital coin hunt. So
yeah. If you've got teenagers, you'll have heard of this one. Vinted are they've got a new PR firm.
They have, and they have appointed Smart. Smarts are an agency at the moment. There seems to be no stopping them. It's sort of, I think we're mentioning them pretty much every month at the moment, and long may it continue because they're doing a great job. They have won the Pan-European PR Social and Creator for Vinted, which, yes, if you've got teenagers, you will know about it. If you don't, they're an online marketplace for selling, buying, exchanging new secondhand items. John Doe are handling the UK consumer side of this and have been since the summer, but now Smart's doing the Pan-European side of it. And yeah, as I said, look, Smarts are just on a great run. Lego, Asda, People Postcode Lottery, just the list keeps going. But
yeah,
good luck
big,
to them.
Big chunky account.
Yeah, big chunky account. I mean, this is a great win for them.
Yeah. There's Tim Mann have got a new EV electric charging client.
They have another agency that seems to have regular mentions on the podcast. They have won Pod, which is they're an EV electric charging provider, and they join Tim Mann's existing energy division, which EDF is one of their clients. That was a pitch I ran a couple of years ago that they won. Electrify Britain, Energy GB. So they've developed an interesting specialism in what is a fast growing and lucrative space. And the job really here is about driving consideration for Pod Drive, which is It's a home EV charging subscription service. Interesting business.
Fine. Do you have an EV, Andrew?
I don't. I used to have a hybrid, but I like petrol cars and loud noise.
Right. And news from also electric car. We've got Changan have got a new agency.
Yeah, they've appointed Wusa. So Changan are a Chinese firm, automotive firm, who are launching into the UK with, they've got an SUV model called Deepay. They're a big company. They're a company that I didn't know too much about. I've done a bit of research into them. Sort of 150,000 odd employees, 39 plants globally. They're one of these Chinese companies you haven't heard of, but they're taking over the world without you looking.
And talking about big wins, Pitch have had a nice win. They have
won a client that I think so many agencies would love to work with, Paddy Power. So Paddy Power have added Pitch to their roster alongside Ready 10. It's to do what they call retained campaign work. So essentially they're on their roster, they'll be doing ongoing work. Pitch are a great agency, you know, sport is in their heartland, but they also understand the cultural side of what you need to do with sport, how to build fandoms, how to create buzz around sport. They look after clients like EA Sport, EE, TNT Sport, but also brands like Beats and Tinder. Again, another agency that's having a very, very good run at the moment, and long may it continue.
Well, that was busy, wasn't it? We
yes,
quickly ran through that. Well done. You can take a breath. Now we're moving on to M&A, which also has been quite busy, and there's some some interesting deals happening over the last month or 6 weeks or so. One which people might have seen, but it seemed an interesting deal that made sense. I thought where Team Lewis acquired Instinctive.
Yeah, this is a really interesting deal, and I have to say, you know, Team Lewis is sometimes an agency that goes a little bit under the radar, but they, 26 offices globally, employs 700 odd people. Chris Lewis is the most incredible operator, and I love this deal because it's a great example of a UK-born independent agency that's making strides to sort of power growth in the sector, and this will double the size of their UK operation. They've acquired the UK division of Instinctive. Instinctive's an interesting agency. They're backed by LDC Lloyd's in 2018. They're a consultancy with their strength really in strategic reputation and advisory work. Yeah. They're going to integrate
back in the College Hill days. They were very, very good at what they did, weren't they? They were the absolute, one of the top corporate PR firms in London, you'd say.
Yeah, I actually always remember judging them in an awards ceremony where they were up for Large Agency of the Year, and I was blown away by them. Super impressive. So they're going to integrate into Team Lewis's global network. They're going to retain their brand in the near term, which probably means they're going to lose it in the medium term. Last year, they put their German business into administration. They've sold their MENA operations to Excella Advisory, which is the Italian advisory group. Something's obviously going on there. They're sorting themselves out. They're restructuring a little bit. Their revenue in 2024 was about 16 million, which is a bit of a fall. It was about a 20% fall, I think, on the year prior. I think, look, there's something going on. They're splitting themselves up a bit. There's going to be 60 or so FTEs who are going to join Team Lewis. I think for Team Lewis, it's an incredible acquisition. It's going to help them grow and develop their integrated proposition. It's going to build them across crisis management, strategy, planning. As I said, I think, Chris Lewis is fairly low profile in the industry, but he's such a smart guy, such a great operator. So, clearly ambitious and clearly going. So,
it's worth saying. I think, but basically, he doesn't enter any of the league tables, so that's why people don't talk about him quite as much as they might. And news from M&C Saatchi, they've been shopping.
Yeah, they have. They're on a bit of a run at the moment. May or may not be connected to the fact that I'm working with them alongside PCB to help acquire stuff. And this particular acquisition is for the Women's Sports Group, which is a very niche business, very specialist. They're an advisory and media rights consultancy, as the name suggests, in the women's sports arena. They're going to operate as part of the sport and entertainment division under Robin Clark, who's the global CEO there. It's a great deal. Look, WSG have got sort of the top of funnel rights and production and the deal making experience, which is going to complement what M&C are doing on the branding, the creative, the sort of audience building side of things. It's obviously a time when women's sport is growing exponentially. They've got some brilliant clients: Barclays Women's Super League, the Premiership Women's Rugby, the Arsenal female team, DAZN, Tour de France Femme. So it's a strategic move by M&C, I think very well timed. Last month, M&C launched M&C Football with Jamie Redknapp at the helm. A couple of months ago, they acquired June 23, which is a UAE-based sport and entertainment company. So M&C are on a good run,
right?
Really good run at the moment.
Right. And Auspicious have also made an acquisition.
Yes, they have acquired Nowadays, who are a Cannes Grand Prix creative film production agency. It's their fourth acquisition since they launched last year. I mean, pretty much a year to the day. What they're doing is building out this global creative services business. So Nowadays, they've got clients like Babylist, like NSPCC, like Red Bull, Dementia UK. Auspicious is going to open doors for them really and fuel their growth. But they're building at quite a rate. Their revenue is touching 10 million nearly. They've got 5 businesses. So we've talked about the stuff they bought in the past. There's Auspicious Global, there's Blue Chalk Media, there's Yes, there's DBLX. And these are the ex-Media Zoo guys. Smart Cookies, again, relatively low profile in terms of their own personalities, but they're just getting on with it and doing deals.
Right. And FGS have been shopping as well.
Yes, they have bought Taplin Downs and Young, TDY, who are a Washington-based firm that are their strategic consultants, policy development. They're very, very specialised in the healthcare arena. And FGS are sort of quietly and steadily building this healthcare offering. And what this does is it just gives them more regulatory specialists. There's lots of sort of formal congressional leaders involved. If you remember, last month they acquired Edmonds Elder, which is London-based digital comms firm. And they're now starting to make acquisitions since KKR private equity took the majority ownership in them last year. It was in December last year they took that. So previously they were part of WPP. Now they've got this majority ownership from KKR and they're starting to make their moves. There'll be lots more. We will see lots more. But this latest deal valued them at $1.7 billion. So not to be sniffed at.
Not small change. And Brave Bison have also made an acquisition.
Yeah, they acquired MTM. Brave Bison are another one of these really exciting mid-market groups doing really, really well under the leadership of Ollie and Theo Green. £12 million deal. They're a strategy and insights consultancy. They've got great clients, people like Google, BBC, Spotify, Samsung. So a really nice addition to Brave Bison. It gives them this, what I would say, like deep consultancy and expertise in strategy that they didn't necessarily have. They've got a really agile operating model, and MTM will operate independently of Brave Bison's sort of marketing services and skills division. But it will work alongside. They bought Mark Ritson's mini MBA. They've also got within that group Social Chain. They've got News Corp as a shareholder now. It's the 5th acquisition they've made, I think, in about a year. So yeah, I like watching this group build out because they're clever in terms of what they buy. They bought Engage, which is a sports marketing and engagement consultancy. They're doing really, really interesting things. They've got Future Fit, which is a growth consultancy. They're just a little bit different to some of the other holding companies out there. Exciting.
Right. Andrew, that brings us to the end of October's review of the biggest pitch wins and M&A activity in the UK PR sector. Thanks so much for coming on the show.
Thanks for having me.